So the theme of this little video that we were assigned to make is little things, meaning something in your life that you take for granted that you kind of don't notice at the time. It just seems small, but if it was gone, it would be like a huge impact in your life. I started thinking about my brother and how much I used to take him for granted when I was younger. I feel like my brother's just someone people take for granted in general. Like, he's just one of those people in life that just gets taken for granted all the time. And so, like, I just, as life was going on, I noticed that's how people kind of treat him. I felt like that's kind of how I used to treat him, which is pretty terrible. But that's kind of why I want to make this video. It's just like, I think he deserves like a little spotlight so people can see who he is and just how amazing of a person he is.
My name is Michael, and I'm 26 years old, and I'm a master's in arts student in Lehman College for biology, and this is going to be my second year. Why I'm in biology? I ask myself that question all the time. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, is this really what I want to do? It's more than just studying stuff. I gotta think about what am I gonna do after school. Am I gonna like do research, or am I gonna teach, or am I gonna do a mix of both? So, and then on top of that, you gotta figure out like, what do you want to study if you're gonna do research? I like plants, so I want to study something plant related, or ecology related or environment related. So, Ma had a basil plant that she had downstairs, so I felt like I could like play around with it, and so went to Home Depot, but first went on Reddit and found that you can make a little bucket that can basically grow plants, but in like an enclosed environment in a way. But I think it's about like a little over 2 feet. God, sometimes I forget what I'm saying about because I get distracted so easy, but for the most part, I've always had an interest in wanting to like study plants, and I figured applying what I studied would be to like grow basil and start from there, and then maybe I can grow other stuff. Like, I have a little other garden downstairs in the basement that I want to be able to grow like pumpkins and tomatoes and stuff. It would be pretty cool. And then, I don't know what I could do with that. I can grow my own food. That's what. You'd be surprised how many disgusting stuff gets inside your food and they just don't tell you about it. I've learned that from a lot of my ecology classes. My uncle and I built this little makeshift, I call it a shed, that has like little holes on the side and a fan on the side to allow air to ventilate through it, so air doesn't get stagnant, and it allows the stems to get a little stronger. Well, I didn't water the plants well enough, so some of it looks like a graveyard, but mainly the idea is trying to grow herbs and green beans in here to cook with. But basically, big container. There's like over 100-liter container of soil and other nutrients and stuff that help it, like nitrogen, carbon, phosphorus, calcium, a little bit of iron. What I might have to do is just put holes at the bottom and put a towel underneath, so water can filter out there, so it doesn't get stuck at the bottom of this. Because I read online that if water gets stuck at the bottom of here, it might cause bacteria to ferment down there and grow. And then it might contaminate the plants. You can't eat it. And this is a good way of making money off of plants in the future, but I get to play with plants. So it's fun. It's a learning experience. It just sucks when it dies. Because then you're just like, wow, I messed up. And not just one thing. You always because you messed up on multiple things, but I've realized what I messed up on. I figured put it in a bigger container and they'll grow bigger, but I should have been more careful with the roots too, and then they would have been able to take up more nutrients to support themselves. But this one's doing alright, and so is this one, so it's not all hope is lost. It's also fun for me to do it because it's not a lot of mental work. It's more like hands-on work, but you get to mix science with it, so I just like working on hands-on to the science stuff.
because it's fun to spend a couple hours trying to tinker with it to get it to work and to get the experiment to work versus spending my time just reading something over and over and trying to teach people what I know. I can barely teach myself stuff sometimes. So I'm just like, I'm not going to be able to do that. But hey, tinkering with stuff, I could take my time on that. That's good. I use Reddit too much. So that's where I learned like a lot of do-it-myself projects I had realized I have no money for. But you know, when I become rich and famous, yeah, I can like do some really cool stuff on because of Reddit and there's wikis for it and everything. I play computer games and stuff for the most part. Not so often because of grad school and me trying to figure out things, but every now and then I get a chance to play stuff. Huh. What do I say to the person I live with almost my whole life? Surprised we get along really well compared to a lot of other people I know other people who I know as brothers. They don't get along with, so they don't go hanging out with them and stuff that often. And I'm like, oh cool. At least my brother and I got a good relationship. We were in the same interest, bro. Always been. Yeah, whenever I tell you about stuff, you understand it. We always got each other's back on stuff, tell each other's shit, and we had to hide stuff from mom and dad all the time. Like, oh, don't tell mom I said that, but I gotta tell you this, man. And they're like, yeah, I'll listen.